What's up, y'all? This is Ottenway here, man. With a boxing talk, life talk, all in between. I'm gonna start doing more of these. It's funny, man. One of my homeboys, man, or guys I met online, his name is Boxing Thoughts, and man, I have a lot of thoughts, so it's just it's funny how his name. It's kind of the topic of what, I'm going to be doing more often than just sharing y'all my thoughts, man. But anyway, it's 11:05 a.m. And I just want to talk about the current state of boxing. How boxers nowadays, I feel like they're actually fighting backwards as far as matchmaking wise. I know my homie, he thinks that actually boxers should be fighting fights that obviously are, appeasing to people that, obviously the fans like, oh yeah, this guy. It's like a mismatch, but at the end of the day, this is what that's gonna be like. Hey, let's fucking see this guy get beat to a pulp, because obviously it's gonna show like how good they are. But I like to think different, man. I think the best way, if we talk about matchmaking, that can work only after a while. I think if you think about it, if a guy keeps fighting people right, he's beating them up, you know what I'm saying? He gets them obviously out of there. But obviously we know these guys are not on this level. But again, not only the casual fans are appeased, you can say even the hardcore people like me who really deep into the sport, we're enjoying it as well. Even though people like me will see through it though at the same time, because like I call myself more of a fan of the sport or observer of the sport, analyst. Like I don't really, like, again, I will be seeing through it, but at the same time, like, okay, yeah, he going out there going crazy, and then all of a sudden you got probably say 5 fights to them guys. Then he fight a guy who's really skillful on his level, and say he racked up 7, or say he's on a 10-win streak, racked up 6 KOs at the last 6 guys he fought. Now he fight a guy who's probably has about half of the fights he have, if not less. Say maybe 15, 10 fights to the guy 30 or 28 fights, just a rough number. The point is, I'm just going to drive home here, is basically once this guy fight a guy that's on his level and he loses, right? Bad. Say like on a Crawford or Spence. You guys are going to just be dumbfounded, like, well, how did this happen? I didn't see this coming. Because you're not thinking like myself and other people who kind of can see like, well, if you really looked at the history, if you look at the film, this was going to happen. Like, after a while, when you fight people that is not on your level, you're going to get exposed. And I think it looks bad when you have so many fights, like 30 plus fights. You know what I'm saying? You got all these fights where you having these easy fights, and then all of a sudden people think you good, then you losing to a guy who got half of. Yeah, you got more knockouts damn near he got wins, say hypothetically, but you got definitely more fights than he got, and he just destroys you because, again, he was a more skillful fighter. At the end of the day, it wasn't somebody you, I ain't gonna say cherry pick, it just wasn't somebody that you was gonna have your way with. So with all that being said, I feel like that actually detriments a fighter, and I think how it should be, and simply fighters should be early on taking on tough fights. Had them 8, 10, at lowest 4 rounders, or say 6 rounders of guys that's pretty tough. But being that I will assume with a promotional company, or at least with a, you're doing a co-promotion where like you're free agent, but you work with a promotional company. Because sometimes if you don't got a promotional company, you're not going to be an A side. But have it to where you have some cushion where, obviously, if it's a tough, say it's out of 6 rounds, and say the guy give you a good fight, and you want to say the first 3 to possibly 4 rounds, and then the guy give you 2 tough rounds, if not more, you good. You got the rounds in, and you have to worry about it. Then you go fight another couple more rounds, another 6th round or whatever. But again, you're getting guys who are kind of tough early on, to where when you are having, by the time you get to 20-some fights, say your first 5, 6 fights we talk about here, say you get your first 50, 20 fights, you good. Like, when you fight a guy that's on your level, you ready, because you've been fighting him early on, to where it won't look like, damn, they say the word padded record. It don't look like, oh shit, you just was a fake, because you got all these fights and you lose to people who be like, damn, how are you losing him? Or, you know, you losing in the fast where it's like, what? Like, were you really that good? And it's like, whole time, no. Because, you know, again, you weren't fighting on your level, up a par. And, you know, you could compare this to like a Tank and a Shakur. Like, Tank, he got a lot of fights, right? He got about 27 fights, right? He fight a lot of guys, like about, and if you really look at his resume, a lot of guys he fought, shit, honestly, there was no chance of them really winning. You know, if you really look at, okay, he always has the speed, he got the feet advantage, you know what I'm saying, he got the power, he got the, you know, I already said you know, all that, I already said that, but obviously got the toughness, mental, you know, he got pretty much all the skill sets. You know, he does, again, he kind of punches well, you know what I'm saying, he moves well when he wants, you know, but, you know, not when he forced to move, he not, but he moves well, you know what I'm saying, he got power, you know how to punch, so he does a few things really well, so like, he's really skilled, you know, so it's like, when you on that level and you fighting guys, it's like, shit, if they don't have nothing, like, I'm talking about they have slow feet, you know what I'm saying, shit, they don't really have much power, let alone hand speed, or I think I might mention that, shit, it's really a mismatch. It's like, shit, what the fuck you fighting him for? And then you got so many of them fights to where you like, okay, he looks super cold, like, yes, to the casual and the fan who don't see what I see and other people see, it looked like he's fucking killing it. It looked like he's just unstoppable. When the whole time he's not, because again, you look at the people he's fighting, they literally don't have anything to make the fight competitive. People say, well, you fought people tall and height does not mean you're gonna make a fight competitive. Reach either doesn't. I mean, reach doesn't either. Like, all that can be countered. You know, that's called, I wouldn't call it skill. I would just say it's technically, taking a person's tool set away. I feel like a skill is something that you, obviously, by definition, you can do really well. You know, which again, like I mentioned, what Tank does. You know, so with that being said, you have this skill set, and you, and these tools, at the end of the day, if you can't really like get past that, it's like, I mean, how, you know what I'm saying, how are we really gonna see how really good you are, you know? But yeah, man, I just say that to say, like, with a Tank, man, once he gets found out, y'all gonna be looking crazy, like, well, shit, was he really like that? It's like, nah, I mean, if you look at the end of the day, you look at the people he fighting, I mean, shit, no, you gotta be surprised, like, well, damn, he was just fighting people that, again, was just tailored for him. And when you have so much of those, you fight somebody that's on your level, you eventually get found out, then, you know, motherfucker looking at you like, shit, are you really him? And it's not. Instead of taking fights that you know, hey, that's gonna boost your skill level or make you tougher and all that early on, or just taking them for like Shakur has kind of taken. Like, fight Shakur, but take lately, that's going to get him better, man. Like, he's going to be ready for them big fights with a David, Tank, or whoever else. Because he's taking the necessary fights that I feel like he should, and there's really he only can take is people know how good he is, and people don't want to fight him. So I just think, yeah, man, it's just, it's kind of, it's kind of like redundant, man. But I'm gonna continue this. I gotta head up this smoothie spot real quick. I'm be right back. Give me a moment. Alright, man, back to what we were saying. This, I guess, it'd be part 2. I probably just put the videos together. Anyway, so I was kind of like touching on just summing that up about the topic of, I feel like you should take the hard road before you take a smooth road. You know, obviously get through the bumps and stuff. You know, like you hear these little bumps going on, and then, you know, eventually you're going to get a smooth road. Don't take the motherfucking smooth road on your car and everything is good as hell. Then up ahead, you got some fucking hella potholes, you know, damn clip, you know what I'm saying, some really fucked up roads, and you're not prepared for it, you know? And that's what I think a lot of these boxers are doing. Like, they're not prepared. They're taking these smooth roads. Oh my fucking god! They're taking these smooth roads and shit, and they not really preparing themselves for the hard road early on. Like, this some shit you should be bred for, you know? That's how I feel. I feel like Tank kind of doing that in the Shakur case. As you can see, I think Shakur, he's trying to take the road. I'm not the hardest, but I'm proving at the end of the day that I'm prepared for any type of style, any level, you know? I know a few, you know, my guys, at least one of my guys, they think what he's doing is, you know, silly, but I beg to differ, because if you really look at the grand scheme, like, this man has no really option to just say, let me choose you. You know what I'm saying? Let me, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because at the end of the day, he just got into a division. 1. 2. I mean, at least probably 4 or 5 people kind of declined his offer when he first got there. You know, and then his first fight, he knocked a guy down. Then, he has a style that you could say the public, the third, would be like, he has a style that the public doesn't like because they don't understand, I guess, boxing. That's what I like to say. People want to call it running, and, you know, oh, you're a track star. You're pretty much, you're boring. That means their comprehension is not there. That means they don't understand what they're seeing. That's all that, you know, I be hearing when I hear people say that stupid shit. So, when you have that type of recipe as Shakur, you know, it's kind of hard for him to, oh, I want to fight this guy because, hey, you know, yeah, I'm Shakur. Like, you know, people, like, going to expect, okay, well, which he has shown he's one of the best in the world, 3-division world champion, lineal, I think, twice or at least once in his career. 3-time champion, you know what I'm saying? I think 2-3-time champion, some shit. Like, he showed he's the best, one of the best. But again, he's trying to go in this division and prove it. But you got Tank in the division. You had Devin, who recently went out. And these guys are not trying to fight him. You know what I'm saying? Like, Devin pump fake, gave him an offer, knowing he was going to move up. People, like, you know, shout out about Godtown. He even knew, like, a lot of people knew that Devin was not going to stay there to try to fight at Shakur. You know what I'm saying? When his body was already messed up, you know, fighting, you know, just drained. It didn't make sense. I'm pretty sure. Now, people going to say, oh, no, man. No, the offer was what it was. It was an offer. Offer doesn't mean a contract. A contract doesn't mean a goddamn, a fight is pretty much finna happen. The contract is just, are y'all agreeing on it? And then now we get to basically establish a venue, but people think an offer is like, oh shit, yeah, this is when the fight happens. Like, no, an offer is something that a fighter looks at, basically. Then, the other fighter obviously negotiates and say, oh, well, this number, maybe could be a little higher here, or, we could, ask his little opinions or takes, and that's it, Y'all first talk out y'all little discrepancies. Yes, the A side is going to have a little more favoritism, like he might have to choose who might be the judges, if I don't think that's a thing, but maybe the venue or whatever, maybe but it's, again, B side has options too. I mean, the B side for one has to agree. Like if the B side say, well shit, I want this sort of ring, and the A side say, no, we're gonna have this ring, what I say goes, like that's not the case. I mean, if the fighter wants to feel like, well, shit, he has not much to say because, he's got to humble himself, then yeah, okay, he just take what the A side is going to, give him. But if he negotiates, which is the purpose is to talk out something, to work out stuff, he want to say, well, you know what, man, let's have a, bigger ring, just little shit like that. Or let's have these, let's do a, I don't know, catch weight or so, what I'm saying, just whatever it is, the negotiations, having talks. And then you have the fight. He sent them an offer. There was no negotiation. There was no talk, and that was it. Like that's not how fights get made. Fight gets made. You guys talk over what you send, and then we get to holy shit. We get to basically have what we call a contract. That comes after everybody agrees on negotiations. So yeah. With that being said, I just feel like in Shakur case, he's doing the right thing. I think what's silly to me is these dudes again are fighting and getting found out. Like Boots is going to be one of them. Tank, like I already was kind of saying, he's going to be one of them. Virgil too, probably as well. Virgil Ortiz, to name a few fighters who's going to get found out, and y'all going to be like, well, damn. How, like, because obviously you not see what I'm seeing, you kind of like looking at, oh shit, he's just dominating this guy. He's making this dude look easy. Well, shit, whoop-de-doo. He got to be the best, right? And you're not looking at, well, obviously, look at the people he's fighting. Are they even on his level? Do they have speed as him? Are they have any footwork like him? No, they literally have nothing. So it's like a mismatch at this point. Like, you outclass him in every area, in the power, in the footwork, in the speed, like all that. Like you outclass him in those main components. So it's like, how is this competitive? And even if say the guy had like, I don't know, maybe good defense, if he doesn't use that shit in a manner where it works for him, shit, that is not gonna do anything, like. So it's like, yeah, man, like a lot of days, like these fighters are fighting people who are literally, they should be fighting. Like Tank, Shakur, or not Shakur, Ennis, Virgil should be fighting dudes, especially at this point in time, who are on their level. Like, finding them, not sitting there, oh, let me just take this easy dude. Like, that's, to me, like, at least for me, I mean, anybody who see the sport enough, you're gonna see through that shit. Like, you're gonna be like, okay, you're not even like really showing you the best. You're kind of fronting. That's how I see it. But yeah, man, so I just feel like that shit gotta change in the boxing game, man. Like, we gotta get people to realize, like, man, if you want to take easy fights, do that shit later on in your career. Not early in your career, and like continuously fight. Like Boots got like 20, at least 29 plus fights of like people that were like literally, I'm not gonna call them buzz, but literally mismatches. For sure. You can look up the definition. Like, I might put some, like you will see like this guy literally fighting people who literally they have no advantage over him. How is that even like watchable to you people? So yeah, man, like y'all people gotta realize like life ain't about having shit easy, man. You gotta earn that shit too, man. And a lot of these dudes ain't earning it, but they want to act like they are, and they want all the glory, but they ain't working for it. You know, so yeah, it's just boxing is crazy to be, but yeah, I think that would be again, if I was to be a matchmaker, I would have my fighter fighting tough fights early on where there's not as much rounds to where he's gonna bank them early rounds in and keep it moving and go on to the next guy, fight a couple short rounds, you know, and go to the next guy so he can get, you know, and I mean tough, I mean, you know, styles where he might not be doing as well in, or he might, like, for example, he don't fight pressure fighters, fight southpaws if you're orthodox fighter more, you know, stuff like that. You know, make the fight competitive fights where, you know, it's going to make you better instead of trying to do that when you have 20 plus fights in and it's like, bro, it's too late for that. You're already at a level where you should already be prepared, and people are like, you gonna see these dudes ain't prepared as y'all think they are with their records. And this is why I think that's what's fucking up the sport. And these people are literally catfishing you, and this is why we had this word called a padded record. Like, why are we talking about people in boxing having records that are like padded, meaning it's protected, and we talk about a sport people risk their lives? Because at the day, people are realizing like, damn, bro, you fight dudes who literally your ass should not be in the ring with. That's why, and it's getting old, man. But you same fans like the shit, but act like y'all don't. Y'all say Shakur boring instead of seeing how, man, this dude was injured and he literally took away a guy's explosiveness by using his jab and taking the range away to where dude couldn't leap off. And y'all would call that boring when the dude was a top fighter. He had speed, he had power, he actually had shit that Shakur seen before, but not probably not recent. That's probably like the only fighter I would say actually who was actually damn near on his level all around almost, as far as with the speed, power, and even thinking in there. And y'all want to call it boring because he's fighting strategically while he's being injured. But y'all want to sit there and say like, oh well, shit, Boots and Roman Villa were what was another mismatch fight? Fucking I'm thinking about it right now. A fucking a damn, what was a mismatch fight I just seen recently, man, not too long ago. Man, I can't think of one right now off the top of my head, but I say like, even like, look at Errol Spence and Crawford. If you really think about it, that was a mismatch. Errol had nothing over Crawford, absolutely nothing but publicity and freaking a lot of pump faking. Honestly, that was one. I'm trying to think of another. Like, I can't think of too many, but nonetheless, man, that shit is like, how can y'all say, well, boxing is messed up? Like, these guys are fighting people and it doesn't entertain us. Then you look at these people who fighting, it's like, why is these guys fighting? Y'all like, oh, look, who is he fighting? Who is this guy? It's like, y'all don't know what y'all want, man. Y'all boxing fans don't really know what y'all want. And I just think y'all need to really realize, like, hey, how about you understand the sport more and realize what actually makes a fighter great? You know what I'm saying? Like, looking at these mismatches and seeing how you people want to say, well, this guy's boring, even though he's fighting a fight how it's supposed to be fight, especially in the circumstances, versus a guy who y'all want to say, well, yeah, man, he's just beating on a guy who literally can't do nothing because it's literally, he's helpless. He literally is it's like a handicap fight. And y'all think that's entertaining. Y'all think that's worth skill. And it's like, y'all literally don't be knowing what y'all watching. Y'all like modern day gladiator warrior crowd people. Like, y'all just like seeing shit that's just too I don't know, I guess it's saturated. But yeah, man, it's like some syndrome y'all people be having, man. But again, it's because too, y'all people don't really know what y'all watch. Y'all, like, back then, they didn't know what the fuck. Or they should see a guy fight, not knowing that dude fight for his family. That guy is doing a lot of, say, back then, whatever martial art or whatever it was at the time to defeat his opponent. They just looking like, oh, it's a lot of blood. That's how y'all sound. That just sound like people who just brainless. But yeah, man, this is some boxing talk, man. I'm gonna have more of these. I don't know what I'm gonna title this, but yeah, stay tuned for more, man. All the 10 way out. Peace.